Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Got some good news for your ears. More of that good stuff is coming up. And even better news for your hair. The best hair care is at Sephora. They've got all kinds of products for every kind of hair. From brands like Amika, Kerastase, Day, and K18. You knew where to get great audio. Now, you know where to get great hair care too. Sephora, good news for great hair. Shop hair care now at Sephora.com.
Mega is an improvised satire from the staff of a fictional megachurch.
We are here, the Lord, we are here, and we're ready to podcast.
Hiya, I'm Hallie Labont, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love to introduce you to members of our church staff and people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome Gray Haas.
He was a fisher of men, and I'll say it again, Hallie. He was a fisher of men. How are you?
So blessed. I truly am giving it up for God today. I am feeling his presence in my life, and I just got to say, well, just like the Lord cares about the sparrows of the field, I believe he also cares about the cats in our streets or maybe on our stages, and today is no exception. We've got a cat/man who is gracing the stage of Broad Ripple Community Theater. He's a member of Twin Hills. He's a volunteer here on campus. I will shut up now. It's your friend and mine, Chuck Beaver O'Donnell. How you feeling today, Chuck?
Oh man, Hallie, I am just as good as gold, and gold is what the Lord got on his birthday, so why can't it be good enough for me?
Oh, and you're going to be walking on streets of gold someday, Chuck. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, Chuck, I'm so excited to have you because a lot of people know that you and I are currently in a production of Men. And Hallie, we cannot actually say the C word.
Cats?
Well, yeah, we can't say that.
Cats the musical?
Nope, not allowed.
Yeah, we can't say that just because of legal reasons. There were, rights issues with doing a production of the C word. So we are calling it Men. And we are just men who are in cat suits, doing their jobs, living their lives. And Chuck was one of the first cast members that I really connected with. And I knew, I was like, how when there's another Christian with you in the room? And I just thought, I've seen him before. And wouldn't you know it, he's a member at Twin Hills. Isn't that right, Jack?
That is right, Gray. And I thought I recognized you as well, but it wasn't until we were dancing the Jellicle Men's Ball that I saw you going up and down, and I realized you were leading your kids over in the bounce, jumping for Jesus. I'm a catcher.
Oh, that is right. Yeah, you are a volunteer catcher in the bounce house on the weekends as well.
Our bounce house ministry, Jump for Jesus.
That's right. It's such a blessing to see, everyone's spirits and bodies lifted at the same time.
Well, I do want to go back to what you said about the Jellicle Ball, because, Hallie, do you know much about Men?
I wanted to ask about that. I don't know what a Jellicle Ball dance is. I want to see it. I got to experience it. I'm going to be in the front row when you open this production of Cats?
Well, it's men, yeah, men.
Oh, when you open this production of Men, you can't say it because is it like the Scottish play? Is this an actor suspicion?
I think maybe more of a director suspicion that maybe a lawyer might pop out of the woodwork and say, hey, you're not allowed to do that. So, no, we personally, if we're not being recorded, we may whisper the C word.
Okay, so what's the Jellicle dance?
Yeah, well, how would you describe Jellicle? Because it really is, it's kind of one of those things, if you're in Men, you kind of know what Jellicle is, but I have a hard time explaining it to other people.
The Jellicle men dance, it's a lot of the up and down on the toes and portraying manly activities to really just show, well, if you know, you know.
Right. It's an attitude, I guess, Hallie, as much as it is a word and a dance.
Wow.
Exactly. Jellicle men do because Jellicle men can.
Yes. And what can they do? We're not quite allowed to tell, but they're able to be Jellicle.
Okay. I might have to Google it. Siri, define Jellicle. Because I still don't understand, but I am excited to finally have a word that rhymes with evangelical because I've never been able to rhyme that word.
And that's just one of the many hidden blessings of Men, the musical. And, you keep saying when it goes up, and that's just a hard little stick in our craw, isn't it, Gray?
Yeah, we're not really, I guess, how will we say this? Right, we're rehearsing right now. We are in there just working our men buns off. But I would say as far as a performance date, we don't have one yet.
Well, I'm going to be there for opening night. Where can I buy tickets?
That's the thing, Hallie. We're really just practicing right now for the hope and the call that we know will come through. Isn't that right, Chuck?
Exactly. It's always better to just have something ready before the need arises. Supply before the demand gets there.
Yes. Oh, I love that metaphor.
So should there be a demand for a production of the musical Cats,
just say the C word.
That is called Men for copyright reasons, where a group of like-minded evangelical fellas in full cat costumes who are human actors wearing full cat costumes representing men. So should that be in demand, y'all will be ready with your production.
That's right. All you can do is pray that, someone needs our production when it's ready. I wake up in a cold sweat thinking that we're going to get a call saying time to host the Jellicle Ball, and we haven't even choreographed Old Deuteronomy.
I know. And I'm sorry that's still happening to you. I didn't know you were still getting the cold Jellicle Ball terror, or the Old Deuteronomy terrors. I'm sorry about that.
Wait, are you all doing an interpretive dance of the book of Deuteronomy?
Isn't that fun? There are so many biblical references and images in Men, but I'm not entirely sure if they're evident.
No, they're not always evident at all, because, there's the Jellicle Ball, but then there's also, well, in Men, it's called the Heaviside Layer.
Right.
Not many people know. That's heaven.
That is heaven.
What is more interesting than seeing a bunch of Christ-loving evangelical Jellicle men competing to get into heaven first?
Heck yeah.
It's so
Heck
great.
yeah.
And that's really the story, Hallie. You name all the men. They all have fun names, and we'll get into Chuck's character in a second, because I would say, after me, I'm the Rum Tum Tugger. He's one of the more important characters in the story.
Oh, really?
And sort of what the story is the men come out, they dance around, they are given names. Some have secret names that can't be spoken. Others have names that are said out loud.
Oh, like Yahweh.
Eventually, there was a lady man that was in the cast. She was very sad because it was kind of her last time around. Cats have 9 lives. She sings Memory, or Menry, as we call it, because we had to replace her because she was just too much of a bummer. And then Old Deuteronomy, he goes up to heaven, or the Heaviside Layer, and that is pretty much the show. But I did want to give Chuck the opportunity to tell a little bit about your character, because I think people will find it to be pretty fascinating.
I've always been interested in things with layers, onions, cakes, the like. But the thing about Asparagus, the theater man, is he's an actor playing a cat, playing a man, playing a cat, playing an actor cat.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
The many blanketed layers of this work has just really helped me connect to the Lord, the Heaviside layer, and my many whiskered men surrounding me.
And he plays this theater cat who is asleep by the theater door. And I would even say there are times when I think, is he actually asleep? Are you?
That's a little secret, Gray.
Is it a cat nap?
Well, a man nap.
Oh,
I
man
guess.
nap. Sorry.
Yeah, man nap. It's just a little longer. I have fallen asleep one time when I was on stage. It was right after your introduction, Rum Tum Tugger. Everyone was singing with the dancing roaches. The dancing roaches we were able to keep because nobody cares about bugs. And the soft pitter-patter of those tap-dancing cockroaches just made me drift off to sleep.
Wow. Well, I didn't realize Deuteronomy was a person.
A man cat.
Sounds like a very
He's the old
biblical
one.
play.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's the old one.
Well, I appreciate you wearing your full costume today, Chuck. I mean, I gotta tell you the truth. To be honest, my favorite color cat is an orange cat, an orange tiger striped cat. And the fact that you showed up, what are you, 6'3", and you got a full orange cat costume on? You have your full face of makeup. Did you spirit gum those whiskers on? I mean, you look incredible.
Thank you, Hallie. I did throw this on because we only have our rehearsals twice every other week or so.
Yeah, twice every other week. We're Monday and Wednesday early morning every other week. And that's another thing is sometimes we sort of forget, don't we, what we've done 2 weeks ago. And, it just, yes.
Oh, you got to start over.
So it's tabula rasa a lot of times, every time. I mean, I forgot my cat's name a few times, actually.
Oh, wow.
That's right. I remember we all said, oh, blank is a curious man. And you were just
like, wait, what's his name? Yeah, I was like cucumber, humbugger, tug offer. I just could, and then I was like, there was Bustopher Jones, and I was like, okay, he's Bustopher Jones, so I can't be tug offer Jones or something. I just had a different name in my head. So
yeah, I love it. I love our production. I love our group, and that's why I've got the full dress on today. I like to remain in character as long as the rehearsing of a production is going on.
And I did want to bring this up because, Hallie, I don't know if you've ever been a part of a major theater production, but it's a little bit different than working at a church, isn't it? Because people, it gets a little catty, or many in this case. And there's a lot of gossip.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
there's
really?
a lot, there can be some backstabbing and jealousy, and that can come out in the characters. It can also come out in ways that aren't protected by the play, which, can be dangerous. And I don't like to name names, but, there are people in this production that I'm going to say it, aren't as talented as you are, aren't as talented as I am. And, it's been difficult sometimes, hasn't it?
What are their names?
Well, there's Coaster Kegel and Glenn Bunyan Evans. And Glenn Bunyan Evans, Chuck, this isn't about you, but you had 3 names first, didn't you?
It's true. I came in and, a lot of people were being sort of, called by full names, including our director, stage manager, Donovan Gio.
Yeah, and just case in point, he was stage manager, but then our director had a family emergency that he never explained and never showed up again. And so, wouldn't you know it, a few weeks later, we have a new director, and it's been a challenge.
And that's Donovan Gio?
Yes, Hallie. It's
no. Well, has he put some pants on?
I mean, he claims this is the official man uniform.
He's directing cats wearing a couple of Y fronts.
He's directing men, and he does have cat elements to them, but yeah.
Yeah, he put on the leotard that we all have to also wear, but then he put the Y fronts on over top as if to be like, well, if you're, well, you said it better.
Hallie, he will walk in and be like, you can't be hard when you're in a leotard. And I was just like, what does that even mean? And, I was like, I've got several hard words for you.
Exactly. I'm sitting there waiting with my pencil and my script, trying to get notes and be perfect for our production. And this guy's just joking around about being hard. I can't even.
It grieves the heart of God. It really does. Well, I was just going to ask, as long as you're changing the title, can you also change some of the other words here and there? Like when it says, Rum Tum Tugger is a curious man. I've always found curiosity to be a slippery slope. What if a fella gets curious? We don't want a man becoming curious about maybe, what another man is packing inside of his leotard and things like that. Curiosity leads nowhere good, but maybe, same syllables, you could be like, Rum Tum Tugger is a spiritual man. You know what I mean? You can really remake it.
Oh my gosh. Hallie, that is beautiful. You just wrote that right now.
I know, Hallie, that is really impressive. Really? And I think you're right. I mean, curiosity killed the man. And I think that is something that we should always be mindful of. And just to keep in mind, this is a secular play. And we have had to bring a Christian perspective to it, just like, yes, Jellicle to us means evangelical. Deuteronomy to us is a Bible reference. And so, when someone comes out as Skimbleshanks, the railway man, I'm thinking, well, maybe that train is taking him to the Heaviside layer, which is heaven. So it's just, it's great to always be filtering things through that Christian perspective, isn't it, Chuck?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm often down over at the Kroger in my full regalia because we're in rehearsals, and I'm getting all these looks. And I go up to the checkout counter, and they're not asking me cash or credit, and they're just not giving me anything. And, I think that must have been the way Jesus felt when he was preaching on the Mount, just people staring at him like, what? We've never heard of you or your daddy before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Jesus was an outsider, and men as cats are cats as men.
Men as
cats as men. Yeah, are also outsiders. And I think that is a perfect example of Christians, always are going to be, I'll say it, discriminated against.
Persecuted. Out and out persecuted.
I'm glad to hear someone finally say it.
Chuck, I did want to ask, and, when we're at rehearsal in the mornings, a lot of times we don't get to talk a lot about our personal lives because most of the time we're trying to learn our lines, trying to remember our choreography, or we're talking about other people. And so I do just want to ask you, what got you interested initially in the theater? And isn't it a God thing, Hallie? He is the theater man in this production.
Awesome.
And the fact that you're in the theater, that is a God thing.
Totally. Well, I went and saw. So I have family out in California.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No.
Thank you. But I did visit about 10 years ago, and my cousin was in a play, and I said, well, this can't be any good, can it? Because we're here. But they said, no, it's called Godspell. And I said, hey, I love that first word. I don't have any feelings about spelling. And I went, and this theater production of Godspell just woke me up to the union of music and the Lord, and also fun costumes.
I don't know anything about theater or that play, but I'm guessing just from the title, Godspell, I'm thinking okay, is it a spelling bee and the last word is God? What
God
is the play
last
about?
word. Yeah.
Well, Godspell is about, as far as I could tell, people loving the Lord in different genres of music. And I remember one of them was, oh, goodness, forgive me, Lord, a striptease of some kind.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yes, it was a production of 10 people. One of them played Jesus, and all 9 of the other people started whipping clothes into the audience. And I said, please, no thank you.
Right. I mean, what in the world does that have to do with a spelling bee? Or did I make that pattern? Is there a spelling bee in it? I guess I'm just like, that's in my head now.
Well, no. Yeah, there's a portion in Act 2 where they said, all right, so we know this proverb now, but how do we spell Jeremiah so that we can write it down? How do you spell that, God? God, spell it for me. And that is how they got the name.
I mean, that does seem like you could kind of solve the problem of the play in the first few minutes and not have to do all the other stuff that might not be God-honoring.
That's true.
G-O-D, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that is inspired, Chuck. I mean, I love hearing the origin story of how people find God and the fact that you found him in the theater and then now continue to honor him by bringing God-honoring theatrics to Indiana. Wow, it just blesses my socks right off. And I'm telling you right now, fellas, I'm going to put you both on the top of my prayer list because when you get to Tech Week, you think you're having trouble now, feeling irritable with people and talking about others and, you know, all of that. When it gets to Tech Week, get ready to lose your dang minds. I mean, it's going to be very hard to stay Christ focused. Now, when will that be? When do you think that you'll go from rehearsals into tech rehearsals? Because that's, you know, what comes next, right?
Well, it is a great question, Hallie. Unfortunately, what we've been doing is instead of having a tech week, we've treated every other week like Tech Week.
Oh.
So, you know, that has added an element, it's definitely added an element of pressure. I think people are learning their stuff because it is Tech Week and we're marking through our marks and we're doing lighting and all that. But tensions are high. Then because of the scheduling thing, you know, we kind of have to tear it all down at the end of that week.
Oh, sure.
We have a week off, then we're back into Tech Week again.
Oh, yeah. So if you are only rehearsing every other week, but every other week is Tech Week, so you're just in Infinite Tech.
Infinite Tech.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Infinite Tech just helps you prepare for your time waiting at the pearly gates. You know, my grandpa, he is passed, unfortunately, but also fortunately because he's in heaven now. But it seemed like he was in a little bit of a coma for a while, and that felt like a waiting room for the pearly gates. And I kept tapping his hand and saying, Grandpa, cut the line. You've been here a long time.
I've never thought of that Comer as the waiting room for heaven.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Is awesome. That is the perfect metaphor. That's exactly what it is. Because we know as evangelicals, there's no purgatory. You know, the Catholics have got it all wrong. You know, they're all hung up on Mary and they're talking about purgatory. Doesn't exist. But boy, being in constant Tech Week, that's real. So I'm going to be putting you both on the top of my prayer list.
I mean, I had a grandfather actually as well that I don't really know what the medical term for it was, but he was frozen physically, completely aware and there mentally, couldn't speak, but he was, you know, he could look around. He obviously didn't like what was going on around him, but it was kind of a frozen Comer. And, you know, he was just standing in a corner. But I always thought it would have helped him if we could have said, look, your next stop is heaven. You're just in the waiting room. Of course, he was like that for, you know, as far as I know, 10, 15 years standing in the corner like that.
So I'm picturing this, like, was he frozen like Han Solo?
No,
when
he was actually
Jabba-
kind of frozen in a stance that kind of insinuated speculated that maybe something had jumped out and scared him, and that's what we always thought had happened, that maybe he had gotten a scare.
Oh, he froze. You're not saying it was subarctic temperatures.
Oh, no.
I thought he was frozen on ice. Did they put his body on ice?
Well, we tried to put his body on ice several times because we thought maybe that would help. But no, he was sort of frozen in shock, I guess.
Shock.
He could be moved around.
Yep.
He could be, laid down into a bed, stood up, but he was always kind of in that, what I'll call like a ready stance, and eyes wide. And, we would say, Grandpa, did something scare you? Couldn't speak. He was basically in he was the frozen chosen, as we said.
Wow, poor guy.
And I love that you guys always just made sure to stand him back up in the corner.
Always, yeah. Well, we figured the corner is where it happened, so maybe we'll just maybe he liked it there. And because as far as the doctors and everyone could determine, there was nothing medically wrong with him. He had just decided, this is how I'll be for the rest of my life. And then when he finally did pass, what's really interesting is right before he passed, he went completely limp. And his eyes closed. And, well, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I guess that's what happens to most people when they die. But now that I'm thinking about it, it was so shocking because for years he had just been sort of frozen that way. So when he finally did limp, go to sleep, or, as we said, died and closed his eyes, we were all just so surprised.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he was in his get-ready position. It seemed like he finally went.
Yes, he was ready. Well, Chuck, it's been so nice to have you, and I guess I will see you early tomorrow morning for rehearsal.
Oh, great. I unfortunately won't be able to be at the theater this time tomorrow. I've got to go to my shift volunteering at Jump for Jesus. Recently, one of the kids was wearing those punk spikes all over, leather pants, leather jacket, and he popped every single one of those bounce surfaces.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful with what these kids are wearing in a bounce house.
Well, does Catsmen have a strict, attendance policy for Tech Week rehearsals?
I mean, we didn't used to, but now with Donovan, it is a 2 strikes you're out. So,
no.
which are Australian rules.
I'm Holly Laurent playing Hallie Levant, and that over there, that's Greg Hess playing Gray Haas. If you would like the Mega VIP treatment and listen ad-free, just go to mega.supercast.com. We would love it if you did. Become a member. Do it. It'll feel so good.
Speaking of Supercast, it's a great time to join. There's a free trial, and that is the best way to make sure that Mega keeps going. You'll get your 4 to 6 episodes per month ad-free, including a behind-the-scenes podcast that we make. And really, it is the way we keep going. So please consider a Supercast membership. Of course, we want to thank our founding members over there. That is Bobby and Betty, Anonymous, Nana and T-Pop, and Adrian O. See you next time.